It is no surprise that Jay-Z is one of the greatest rappers of our era. The musician has not only dominated his sound to the point of being considered an all-time GOAT, Jay is also widely known for being a business mogul. After becoming the first ever black billionaire in hip-hop, he managed to achieve all of this despite having a background as a dope dealer in the streets back in the day. And for someone like Jay-Z, getting into beefs during your career is almost inevitable, but how could someone of this caliber start fearing for his life? Welcome back to Vintage. This is the beef between Jay-Z and E-Moneybags. So to fully understand how we even got to this point, we gotta go back to the early 2000s. Jay-Z and his Roc-A-Fella crew appeared on the Hot 97 radio station to showcase their freestyling skills for Funkmaster Flex. The talented MCs included Memphis Bleek, Beanie Sigel, Emilio Sparks, and E-Moneybags, who was introduced as a new artist. Everything seemed to be going all good as they took turns freestyling and just enjoying each other's company. But prior to pulling up to the station, Memphis Bleek had proposed the idea of using this opportunity to introduce the up-and-coming artist named E-Moneybags to the public, and unexpectedly, the rapper's name triggered a significant amount of controversy between Jay-Z and Nas. Because in the midst of the freestyling session, Jay-Z asked Funkmaster Flex to provide the audience with a phone number for them to call in, and at some point during the broadcast, Prodigy, which is a renowned hip-hop figure, and also one half of the dynamic duo Mobb Deep, dialed into the station. So Prodigy called the number and passed the phone to his associate, who was revealed to be named E-Moneybags, causing an immediate escalation in the conversation. It wasn't rocket science that the similarity in their names was perceived as a form of disrespect. Although I can't find a specific clip featuring the phone call, there's still a bunch of articles summarizing the situation in detail. So you might be confused as to how someone like E-Moneybags that we barely know anything about was able to make such a big deal out of this. If so, allow me to clarify, E-Moneybags was no regular rapper, but a renowned figure in the streets of New York, primarily due to his connections and reputation for being an authentic guy, also known as a real ass nigga. Nah, but E-Moneybags, formerly known as Eric Smith, attended Westinghouse High School, which is known for its roster of high profile rap artists, including attendees like the legendary Notorious B.I.G, Busta Rhymes, and Jay-Z, all of whom were born in 1969. It is reasonable to presume that they attended the same school at the same time before E located to Queens. But as I said previously, E-Moneybags was notorious on the streets and had a reputation for extortion, drug sales, armed robberies, and murder. So in the 1990s, he was actually involved in a shooting at the premiere of Godfather 3 in Valley Stream Theater, located in Long Island. E-Moneybags was actually one of the shooters himself, and during the shooting, 4 innocent bystanders were hit as a result of an altercation between E-Moneybags' gang and another gang. The police recovered 25 shells from 5 guns. Fortunately, 2 of the victims survived despite being struck in the arm and neck, while a 17-year-old basketball player was hit and lost an eye. And then there was a 15-year-old that was the final victim, and he was shot in the head and died at the scene. And also, during this time, E-Moneybags was also affiliated with Live Squad, a rap group that also had ties with Tupac. When Tupac was locked up on false accusations of sexual assault and right after the Quad Studio shooting, many of Live Squad and Tupac's New York-based friends distanced themselves. But E-Moneybags, however, visited him in jail and at the hospital, unlike many others. But the friendship was short-lived because following the Quad Studio shooting, Tupac didn't like that E-Moneybags continued to associate with Stretch and Notorious B.I.G because Tupac thought that these guys were behind his setup.
Moneybags, firm, baby. Queens in the house, I'm just saying, firm. That's enough. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. You know how I go.
So that clip was from 1995, where E-Moneybags featured in Jay-Z's music video for the song Dead Presidents with Biggie. E-Moneybags was fucking with Nas and Mobb Deep. He got to know Prodigy through a mutual friend from Long Island. E-Moneybags started rapping because he was inspired by Prodigy in the first place. He released his solo album in E-Moneybags We Trust, and the album received mixed opinions. Despite featuring prominent artists such as Nas, Nas, Nature, Cool G Rap, and CNN, and Live Squad. And the caliber of the featured artists on the tape just goes to show how well respected E-Moneybags was. He was well connected in the industry, and he didn't seem like the guy that was just trying to clout chase and just get the fame. He maintained close ties with Pac, Biggie, Nas, Prodigy, and Stretch that obviously had ties with everyone in the industry. When it comes to E-Moneybags and Jay-Z's relationship, it was already pre-existing long before the incident at the station. It seemed like they attended the same high school, had mutual friends, and allegedly, E-Moneybags even aided Jay-Z's early rap career by delivering his CDs to a radio station where he had connections.
When Jay wasn't popping, when Jay wasn't popping, he used to bring his tape to E, so cause he wanted him to give his tape to Ed Lover to play in the morning.
Yeah.
So Jay used to go, all the heavy hitters in New York, Jay would bring his tape personally to the heavy hitters in New York, and E was one of the heavy hitters. And want them to be
playing that shit in the
whip. And so now when it's time for E doing the same shit, now that you done made it already, nigga looking for him to like, yo, nigga, I ain't nobody now just cause you doing it?
Real quick, I gotta mention that at this point, Jay-Z's relationship with Prodigy and a lot of East Coast rappers was not in the greatest of places. You see, East Coast rappers did not take it lightly when Jay-Z said this.
What's the dealings, huh? It's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. I'm trying to restore the buildings.
This line was about Snoop Dogg and the duo from the West Coast called the Dog Pound, and not only did Prodigy and others feel some type of way because they thought that Jay-Z was making fun of them for not standing their ground, but they were also furious that Jay-Z wasn't around when East Coast and West Coast tensions were high, and rappers like Prodigy had to defend New York with records like LA, LA. And as you can see, this call to the station wasn't a random one meant to spark up problems. It was way deeper than that. So going back to the call that was made when they were freestyling at Hot 97, E-Moneybags told Jay-Z, how the fuck you gonna let some random guy buy my name? You know me and you know how I get down. I don't put in work for this name. He concluded by saying, when I see you, you know what it is, and hung up the phone. We also gotta take into consideration that at this point, rap names meant a lot more to the MCs than what it does today. Nowadays you see rappers popping up left and right, taking inspiration from other bigger rappers' names, but back then, your name was a part of you, and there was much bigger emphasis on being original, so that when someone pops out the cut with almost an identical name, you're gonna take it as disrespect, just like E. He took it very personally.
Just tells to say, yo, call yourself H, not H Moneybags, because I got a man that's E-Moneybags and he on his way up, man. You know what I'm saying? He's making a little bit of noise.
I mean, it just goes down to the laws of biting, my nigga.
It just goes down to, yo, man, you supposed to be my man. You know what I'm doing. You respected me when you needed my help, and now that you got a little momentum going, now I ain't.
You gotta be a real tough nigga to be saying on live radio, quote unquote, if I see you, it's going down. And it seemed like E-Moneybag was as serious as it gets. No disrespect to Jay-Z whatsoever, but it seemed like he was getting kinda stressed out by the situation at this very point, because E-Moneybags was furious when he hung up the phone. He even called Nas to let him know that it was going down. He just ran him through the whole situation, and Nas said, okay, like, I'm going to call Jay-Z. At this point, Nas and Jay, they knew each other, just a few sneak disses, like a few jabs here and there, but nothing too serious. But during this call, Jay-Z told Nas, tell E-Moneybags that I make music for the people who make money, basically implying that E-Moneybags' pockets are hurting. And this made Nas pissed, and they started arguing over the phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Yo, man, that fucking nigga Jay, man, when I see that nigga on sight, I'm all over that nigga. I'm fucking his ass up on sight when I see his ass. So you like, oh, all right, so what's up? We got beef with this nigga? Like, yeah, we're on sight. We on this nigga up here, all on the Queen's Beats, nigga, fucking violating it. So Nas is like, what? All right, boom, hang up. I don't know if Jay called him back or he called Jay. Well, they speak. So when Jay speaks to Nas, he go, yo, man, why he bugging the fuck out, man? Yo, man, we don't even make music for niggas like that, man. We only make music for niggas that get money. This is what Jay tell Nas. And Nas tell that nigga, yo, hell no, I make music for everybody. And he was like, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We make money for the money niggas. And Nas told him again, no, I make I make music for everybody. So then he called E and told E what Jay said. And E said, yo, fuck that. When I see Jay,
You forgot
the
about the
city.
nigga.
Let's just say that their beef wasn't all that. This incident definitely turned that shit up. Like, this shit was getting real. It was rumored that Jay-Z didn't even leave his house for weeks following this incident, knowing how big of a menace E-Moneybags actually was. He was active, the type of guy to run up on Jay-Z in broad daylight. A couple of diss tracks were exchanged, but E-Moneybags' The Gospel ended up being his last song ever.
E-Moneybags, Jay, one and Nas in his dead president's video. Who the hell you think he hollered at, yo? Real connected with real, Those were the days, and it ain't my fault. He didn't accept your invitation. You sample my thuns. Now I'm on joints and with my thuns. Name the time and place, you won't even come. I know this arc, you something similar. Not knowing your part. Life was an act, should have been playing it smart. It's killing you. You're facing the real. You know I ain't nothing like Mace. I ain't a straight beat cocked to your grill. We up in the place with it tucked in the waist. The electoral vote's been chosen, yo, and I stole it.
Long story short, the situation was resolved. However, Jay-Z and Nas' relationship was broken as a result of this. Jay-Z went on to do amazing things, obviously, and it seemed like him and Nas were on semi-good terms at least. But I cannot say the same for E-Moneybags. His menace behavior took a turn for the worse after he started pursuing beefs with other street goons. He ended up killing a guy named Black, but it turns out that E-Moneybags killed the wrong guy, and he got himself into some hot water yet again. It didn't take long before they caught him. In retaliation, Black's gang ordered a hitman to get E, and on July the 16th, they ran up on him while he was smoking and eating some wings, and they hit him 10 times and he ended up dying from the gunshot wounds.